Recording in progress. Welcome, Taurus. What's going on today? It is November 2nd, and we're going to see what is happening in your world today. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you like what you see here, whatever, please like, subscribe, share, all of that. So all of that. Okay. So if you've been to my channel before, you know that I try to do things for like the next week. Today is November 2nd, so the next like 7 days or so. However, mostly I channel information. I do use cards, as you can see. But Spirit has a mind of their own. And when they decide to come through and say things, I am not in charge, and they just say what they say. My job, I've been doing this for 30 years. I do personal readings. That information will be in the information part, description. That's what I'm looking for. So you can find that there. But anyway, I've been doing this for 30 years, and in the process, my job has been to trust the information that I receive. I do use cards. However, I read intuitively as well. So we will talk about what the cards mean, but whatever Spirit wants to say about them is what Spirit is going to say about them. And that's how we roll here. So, like I said, today is November 2nd, 2023. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, and let's get into this. So, first we're going to see what the general energies are for Taurus for today, and the okay then. Trucks are outside. Don't know what they're doing out there, but who knows? Hazards of living near the city. So, see what's happening for Taurus for today and the upcoming time period. Potentially the next week or whenever. Oh. Let's see here. Taurus. General energies for Taurus. Whoever is listening. All right. So the first information that I'm getting is about people swimming. So it may be important for you to be near water, around water. There could also be people who are trying to travel, get away, vacation, things like that. But I don't know what's happening in your particular chart. All right. However, Spirit is telling me that this can be a time period where you may want to be mouthing off to people. So I don't know if this is like a Mercury thing. It's definitely a Mars thing. Mars can bring up agitation, anger. It is the ruling planet of Aries as well as Scorpio, and so wherever that is in your chart, it could be having an impact on you, right? They do also want to say that if you are having agitation with people who are close to you, especially people who are at work, it's important that you are not taking this out on other people. It's important that you are dealing, processing, because they're saying there are some of those people out there who are kind of holding things on the inside. Things are being like stuck right now. Okay. But we do know that Saturn is getting ready to move direct on the 4th. So this could cause things to be moving forward in a lot of ways as well. So you may be having some sort of well, okay, so we are also in Scorpio time period because we are. Spirit is talking about this can be a time period about big emotional release for y'all. So, what are we in the south? I'm in northeast. So maybe this has to do with somebody from the south somewhere. Who knows? Like we said, we're not in charge. So anyway, not sure who David is. That's somebody that's like watching, listening, he's here, there's something, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so just saying that whatever this is, it's trying to come out. It's you could then end up getting in trouble by like saying things to somebody that this isn't about them, right? So just kind of, be aware of what's happening, right? Be aware of your motivation, be aware of your intentions, right? Okay, so what is happening here? General energies, intentions for the sign of Taurus. Let's see what's happening. Oh, all kinds of crap there. Okay, so the magician. First up is the magician. The magician is so the magician has to do with so it's ruled by interesting. I still keep getting this like Mercury thing here. But the magician says that you have all the tools that you require, right? It's like, so apparently you're trying to get things done here. If any of you all are practicing like magic out there, we are talking about the moon cycles here because we have the moon, we have magic, right? So that's interesting. This can be a very emotional time period for you. The moon is ruled by the sign of Cancer. We have the Knight of Cups. Also, so again, we're talking about all this sort of like emotional upheaval. Be aware of like subconscious things that are trying to happen with you as well, right? Because the magician says that look for the tools that you require, because it does say that you have all the tools, right? The magician is also about as above, so below. Six of Swords moving forward. So again, there can be things that are connected to like travel. Spirit is telling me that you may very well be having people coming to see you from distant places and things like that as well. So we're talking about like repairing homes and things like that. You have a lot of energy going on around here with you, Taurus. Just feels like there's a lot of kinds of, the information I'm getting here has a lot to do with things related to construction, right? And when I'm getting this information that is about construction, right, it's not just about like home, things like that, right? It feels to me like it has to do with how you are trying to build your life, how you're trying to make things happen, et cetera, right? And This can be a good time period to be starting projects where you're trying to build your life, right? With the Two of Swords here, Two of Swords is a card about trust issues, things like that. It can bring up things that you're trying to do over the course of the next 2 months as well, right? So if you're planning on travel, there can be things trying to happen connected to that, right, over the course of the next 2 months. The Fool card talks about things starting a new cycle, being open to all possibilities, things like that. There's the Ace of Swords here, which is about like new beginnings. It's a card also related to triumph. So if things have been being kind of like held up for reasons that you don't know, that you don't understand, right? The Moon card is about things that are hidden as well, right? And the Magician is about magic. It is about creation, right? So if there are things that you've been trying to create and they've been kind of like stuck, a lot of the emotions that are coming up right now are allowing things to be able to move forward, right? There can be things come up here connected to relationships, whether these relationships are things that are trying to start or whether they are trying to end, right? Because I usually use the Two of Swords about like separation, right? But it is a card about like bigger choices, things like that. It's not as big as the Judgment card, but it does talk about like choices that are trying to be made here. And again, the Two of Swords, you can see this person here. They do have a blindfold on, so um, so this is about the Moon in Libra, right? So again, we're talking about like any kind, really any kinds of partnerships, right? We're not talking just about like intimate relationship type things. We're talking about any kind of relationships here that are trying to I want to say whether they're trying to start or whether they are trying to end. Because the Fool card talks about being open to all possibilities, right? It's like, because it's a card that talks about like starting a new cycle around your life. And, the Ace of Swords here being a card that is about like victory, right? It is about triumph, things like that. We'll talk about new ideas coming in around you, right? So, even though this feels to me like there can be a sense of difficulty around whatever kind of partnerships you're experiencing here, you're telling me that within the course of the next week or so, there will be more clarity coming up around here. So we're probably going to see the sun showing up in your reading. Um, Especially because the Fool is talking about starting a new cycle, being open to all possibilities, things like that. And the Six of Swords will talk about moving forward as far as your life is concerned too. It talks about moving muddy emotions behind you. And again, we're talking about the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, the Knights are really about, I use them as like potential. And so he's usually on a horse and moving forward, right? So there is a lot of that is trying to happen. Things are trying to move forward. They're trying to get unstuck. And so I would suggest not trying to force things to happen, right? This is a time period where you're not really, if you're trying to get answers from somebody, right, you're probably not going to get them right now, right? Probably not until, I would say, probably not until at least like Friday or Saturday is what I'm being shown. So whatever it is that's like going on around there. So we'll just say, keep things keep things even, be chill about whatever it is that you're doing right now, right? I understand, right, that it can be difficult to admit that you're powerless over people, places, and things, okay? But that's where we're at. So, somebody feels like they're being very tight-lipped, very shut down, and it feels to me like somebody has some kind of aggravation that is going on in their own life. And so it's not really about you, that they're not really open to having communication with you right now. It's just that they have a lot of other things going on in their life. So um, give them a chance, give them an opportunity, right, to deal with things that are happening in their life that you're not able to see, right? Because like you said, the Ace of Swords is here. The Ace of Swords is about new ideas coming in around you, right? So, we'll see what else is going to be showing up around here, right? So, Spirit says that, like, you Taurians are having some very colorful lives right now. So, that's interesting. What's that all about? Queen of Cups, again, an emotional situation happening around here. Could very well be dealing with somebody that is a Pisces. I just want to say that Pisces rules the feet. So again, we are talking about, there could be like foot issues going on here, leg issues, things like that. But again, that does have a lot to do with, like the feet are where you stand. So you want to be looking at that. Where are you standing in your life right now? Where are you trying to get to? Right. And Spirit is showing me this thing about be aware of where it is that you're looking in your life. If you're looking at your past, right? Like they say it's okay to look at your past, but don't stare at it, right? Because you're not heading that way. Look to the future, right? This is about you. This is about you being able to move forward in your lives, right? And it's a lot about like kind of getting unstuck. It's a lot about like letting go of people who are no longer good for you. They're not like people who are not helping you in your lives, people who are not supporting you, right? People that are not, it's like, it makes me feel like you are growing. It makes me feel like you're growing beyond a lot of people here, right? Or at least certain groups and things like that, right? It's like your interests feel like they're in the process of changing right now. So it's like, it's just like, like trust the process, right? If you're not getting what it is that you're looking for from this person, from this group of people over here, right? Then like let them go, right? Like, because you're being asked to head in a different direction here, right? So we're not going to be surprised if the Eight of Cups shows up. Which one? This one. We're not going to be surprised if the Eight of Cups shows up, because the Eight of Cups is about heading in a new direction. Right? It is about, it's another card that can talk about, it's not so much like the Fool card, which is about starting a new cycle around your life, but it is about like walking away from things that no longer serve you. Sometimes it's a card that shows up about looking inside rather than, looking outside at the world, right? Because the issue is probably not with the people out there. The issue is probably more so with whatever it is that's going on inside of you, right? So I am a believer in the four agreements, right? And one of the four agreements says not to take things personally, right? If someone cannot have conversation with you, if they cannot support you, it is not about you. It is about them, right? So let them go deal with themselves, whatever. Let it go, and continue on with your life somehow, right? So, um, Seven of Swords is a card about like fear of moving forward, holding on to old ideas, thinking that everything is the same as it always has been, right? But it's kind of about tactics, right? Sometimes this card comes up about lying, cheating, stealing, right? It is connected to the Moon card here, right? Which is about the Moon card can be related to deception again, right? So it's like, but it's interesting because it's like you may very well feel like people are like lying to you, right? And it's like, but it may not necessarily be quite about like lies as much as it is about, you know, maybe they just don't know, right? Um, maybe these people just don't know what it is that's really like going on with them, right? So it's like they can't tell you something that they don't know about. So the interesting thing about this, right, is that I do operate as an empath, right? So I sometimes when people are saying things, right, like I can tell if it's a lie, right? But sometimes people are in denial, right? And so, which means that they're really like lying to themselves. So they may think that they're telling the truth, even if they're not really telling the truth. So you just want to kind of be aware of that, right? Because again, you do have the Knight of Pentacles, which is a card I use about like a whole power struggle going on. Sometimes it is about, it can bring up things related to, you know, like sexual issues. It's a card that I use about limitations and restrictions. Usually, people putting themselves in these positions, right? They're usually like self-imposed limitations and restrictions. Um, so again, we're bringing up those kinds of things, right? Um, so the other thing is that the devil card is a card that can bring up things connected to addiction, right? So extravagance, right? Like it can be a lot about like you know, addiction may not necessarily be related to like sexual things, right? I mean, it may not necessarily be related to drugs. It could be related to like sexual things. It could be related to buying things. It can be related to food, right? Things like that, right? And I bring that up because um, if you are looking to, you know, like buy things, whatever, right? Like go on a binge, right? Four of Pentacles can talk about like, you know, trying to hold on to your money and things like that, right? So you want to kind of, this is a time period where, you know, you may not necessarily want to be like gambling, taking risks, like things like that, right? Um, so I'm just going to talk about that. So we have the Two of Swords with the Two of Swords. So again, this is, we're bringing up this thing here about like separation, trust issues, things like that. Um, so far, it feels like we're talking a lot more about like relationship oriented things, right? But this does talk about you're starting a new cycle around your life, and it does look like there is like celebration coming up around here as well, right? Um, so I don't usually use the Lovers card for like relationship oriented things. I look at it more in terms of like there's a quandary going on around here, right? So um, this does feel like there can be a lot of things going on around here relationship wise, where it's like, you know, we just want to like cut loose, we want to play the field, we want to do, you know, we want to do all of this stuff, right? Whether it is connected to like relationship oriented things, whether it's related to uh you know, like partying, whether, you know, whatever this is here, right? It just feels like, it just makes me feel like I'm mad at the world and I'm gonna go and just release all of this like stress and stuff like that. And we're just gonna try to like let loose and go have some fun and whatever, right? So sometimes that can be okay, right? Um, but I just want to say that you know, especially because we are in the sign of Scorpio right now, and Scorpio is about Scorpio does rule like addiction, things like that, right? It does rule about transformation. It is like death and rebirth. It's a big time period about death and rebirth, things like that, right? And so that can be something that is coming up for a lot of y'all. And so I just want to say, like, make sure that you're like taking care of yourself in the process of all of this. I really was not expecting to get this kind of energy from Taurus, right? But here we are. Right? Wow. This is a lot. Because I usually see Taurus as being more about like money, finances, things like that. I usually see them as being, very like grounded and very kind of, like stuck type people. This is like telling me a whole other story about you. Wow. This makes me feel like there is that you have been in a place where you've been kind of stuck and working a lot and just a magician like trying to make things happen, and now it's like like I just want to kind of I just kind of want to let loose and like let my hair down, all of that kind of stuff. And Temperance card, this is a card that talks about being patient with yourself, right? It's kind of about balance. It talks about you going through a lot of changes, which can bring up a lot of emotional turmoil for y'all, right? Six of Pentacles is a card that is related to like money, finances, things like that. It can talk about how you may be coming into I don't know. It's interesting because it's a card that can say that you could be coming into like a little bit of like extra money somehow or another, right? And trying to, well, with the seven of swords there, right? It's a card that can be about tactics and stuff like that, trying to process how you're dealing with your money and finances, right? In the old days, they used to talk about like robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? So it means like I have money that's dedicated for this situation over here, but I'm going to take some of this money and I'm going to use it over here, right? So I would just say that if that's the situation, right, just kind of like be patient with yourself right now, right? Because we do have the magician here again, right? This is a magician, right? So things are trying to happen for you, right? I'm being told here over the course of the next 4 days that there could very well be other money that is trying to come in around you, right? That is going to help to balance out whatever you're doing here, like financially. So again, we are in Scorpio time period with Death card, which is ruled by Scorpio, right? So again, we have like death and rebirth, doors closing, new doors opening. You're going through a huge kind of transformation, especially things that are connected to like your money, finances, things like that. I'm getting a lot of changes happening here around your home, your living situation, things like that. I don't know why I'm getting this thing about like, like I just want to look at like 50 rolls of like wallpaper. So it's all about it's funny. Like my Lemurian crystal. It's really cool. It has a lot of like power in it. A lot of energy in this stone. So we do have the Eight of Pentacles here, right, which is about like focus on where it is that you're trying to get to. Eight of Pentacles is a card that can be connected to it's a card that can be connected to stepping stones, things like that, right? You do have the Ten of Cups here, which is a card that does talk about it's kind of talks about like marriage, happiness, and family, right? So it does look like there can be some sort of like celebration going on around here with the Three of Cups, right? This is a card that can bring up like children as well, right? Like babies, things like that. So if there are children coming up around here, this looks like somebody is expecting a male child, right? Swords are the Ace of Swords would bring up like male. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be like female children coming into the world at this time. It just feels to me like somebody is really waiting and like kind of hankering on. Um, I'm looking for this like male child to show up around here, and it feels like it's something. This is a very specific situation here where, all right, so this actually feels like royalty to me for some reason or another. So, you know, I'm not big into following the news, okay? I'm just not. But I don't know if there's somebody that is in a royal family right now who is looking for a kid, right? Who knows? But I think that somebody here is expecting a male, which is, you know, like the heir to the throne, things like that, right? They may not get what they're looking for. Oh well. That's like funny. Um so we do have the Three of Pentacles here. The Three of Pentacles is a card that can bring up about it's a card that can come up here connected to negotiation, things like that, artistry, like working with other people, things like that, right? And so I will say this is that if you are looking to making changes connected to like your money and finances with these pentacles running around here, right? And especially if you're looking for whatever company you're going to, if you're looking for them to like pay for it, then that is something that could very well be working out for you. So that act, because you do have the Ten of Cups here, Three of Cups, like celebration, right? Somebody who's very focused around their money, finances, things like that, right? But Ten of Cups, Three of Cups, this is a card, Ten of Cups, if we're looking at things that are related to, you know, marriage, happiness, family, right? Then the Three of Pentacles here, Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. I don't know. This feels like it can also be some kind of like blended family as well, right? Especially the Ace of Swords here. If there's like somebody that is potentially getting like married because like somebody is like pregnant, something like that, right? So because the Fool card can bring up something related to like a child as well. So you have a lot going on here. Very interesting. Like we said earlier, right? It's like you're having very colorful lives. Not what I was expecting for you, Taurus. Hermit card, a lot about like feeling alone, being alone, like money, finances, things like that. It can bring up things that are related to this can be related to, like you don't have like the ace of wands here, right? But which would be a very entrepreneurial kind of thing, right? However, if you are looking for things that are related to, you know, money, finances, things like that, like your goals, dreams, and aspirations are sitting here, right? And but there's a lot of worry going on, right? So this is a lot about like comfort zone type things, right? Nine of Swords taking problems to bed with you at night, right? So this is a situation that makes me feel like you kind of have to get out of your own way. So, let us see what else is like happening here. Hey, sorry. Like big energy going around here. Taurus. Let's like clarify some of these cards here and see what's happening. What's happening for the sign of Taurus? Have this whole thing about like you're all trying to like break loose. The thing that's interesting about this, right, is that there's a lot of energy going on out in the world about people ascending, right? Meaning that people are like raising their vibration and stuff like that, right? And so like Taurus has been in this place where, it's like they've been kind of following the rules and all this kind of stuff, and now it's like it's like I'm like raising my vibration around here, and so it's like I want to explore new ways of doing things. I want to explore new ideas about doing things, and I don't want to follow the rules anymore. And it's very much about um again, like finding your own self, right? Doing your own thing, stuff like that, right? And because you do have the Two of Swords twice here, which is, it's a lot about like separation. There's trust issues. There's a lot of decisions being made around here, right? And Magician twice, they're out there like trying to make things happen, right? And like tired of like holding on to things, right? Four of Pentacles is a card that can come up. It's like this guy like holding on to all of his money and finances, things like that, right? And but the Two of Swords is a card that talks about like making other choices around your life, right? And the Lovers card is a card that does talk about a quandary, but it is a card related to it's a card that can be related to like trusting your instincts, right? Because it's related to like the self, the ego, subconscious, it's all that. So it's like trying to look at different places inside of yourself, right? So this is Taurus, right? Money, finances, right? Knight of Pentacles, trying to move yourself forward. Says you do have all of the tools that you require, right? You may have to be patient with yourself, especially if you have the Hermit card here, which is about like feeling alone, being alone, doing things on your own, right? Very big kind of like tower moment going on around here. Lots of kind of reorganization happening. And again, we have the Hangman card, right? Well, not again, but it kind of explains what it is I was looking at before, which has to do with things being stuck, right? So it's like, again, all these changes happening here, right? You don't want to look at things from like a victim kind of like perspective, right? Again, you have the three of Pentacles around here. So this is about like negotiation, right? You have the Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords, Seven of Swords, right? So Eight of Swords to me is a card that talks about making decisions that overwhelm you. It's another card that talks about like being like stuck in your thoughts, stuff like that, right? And I think that with this like Three of Pentacles here, right? It's like this is going to be a good idea for you to be asking for help from somebody else. Right? Eight of Pentacles says that again. The Eight of Pentacles over here. You have Eight of Pentacles over here. Right. So this is a lot about like being focused on what it is that you want. Right. Again, it's like money, finances, things like that. Right. And trying to make things happen. There's a lot of creative energy that's trying to happen around here. Right. We don't have the Empress card yet, but you do have the Three of Pentacles around here twice. You have a couple of threes, sixes, right? I look for like 3s, 6s, and 9s, right? Or any kind of multiples of 3, because that would bring up a lot of creative kind of energy. You have the 9 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, Hermit card, which is 9. Right? You have the Lovers card, which is 6. The 3 of Pentacles over here, which is also um, a 3. You have the 9 of Swords over there, right? So it's about taking positive bed with you at night, but it is a 9. So it is a lot about like trying to create things, right? This Empress guy right there. I knew the Empress guy was there. It's like so funny. Because we're talking about all this creative energy that's trying to happen around here, right? And there you go. Again, like emotional situations here, right? You have the Knight of Pentacles here, you have the King of Pentacles over there. So it's like it is looking for somebody who is emotionally secure. The King of Cups is somebody who is ruled by his emotions, like somebody that's like Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, or something like that. Usually Scorpio time period, right? And so, but the King of Cups is somebody who is like somebody who's like very psychic. They are very much in control of. Kings are about power, right? So this is something who has a lot of power over his emotions, right? And he does look to the future. So it's like if you're looking for help from somebody, look for somebody who is kind of more. I would say somebody that is like psychic, somebody that is more in control of things, right? But this does talk about you being in a very emotional state because there's a lot of transformation. There's a lot of tower going. The Tower card is ruled by Mars, right? So there's a lot of transformation going on around here. There's a lot of kind of tearing down in order to rebuild. The Tower is something that happens to you. I mean, it's something that happens for you, not to you, right? So even though there can be this big kind of like reorganization going on around your life, right? In other decks, the Three of Pentacles talks about works, right? So it's about like life lessons, classes, training programs, things like that, right? It's kind of about negotiation, right? So this is going to be a time period where it's like work with the energy, right? Like look at why things are happening for you and not to you, right? The Tower card talks about it's a tearing down in order to rebuild, right? But this Tower is a card that says, um, you know, things have not been built on solid ground. Things have to fall apart because they're no longer working for you, right? So it's like let things fall apart. Let people leave your life that no longer belong in your life, right? And somebody is out there saying, like, get over it. So sorry, that's the way they're rolling. So because like I said, this is about like this card that can talk about being a victim. However, the Hangman card really talks about changing your perspective around things, right? So it's like you want to change your perspective, work with the energy, work with other people, right? Be in a creative process, right? Making decisions that overwhelm you, right? Allowing yourself to kind of get out of things, right? And then focus on where it is that you really want to be going in your life, right? The Emperor card, being in control, right? This kind of can bring up like government things. This kind of brings up Aries time period, right? And like Sagittarius here. This is a card that is about communication. So people talking to you about different kinds of projects, things like that. Right. Again, we have the Six of Swords, right? We had the Six of Swords in the first deck. Now we have the Six of Swords again, right? And fear of defeat. This is kind that talks about, right? So the way that this is sitting here is that it feels to me like you have these ideas about things that you want to do, right? Thinking that you're stuck, a lot of reaction around like being stuck and I can't and I can't and I can't, right? So you don't want to be a victim, right? You just want to. So if you're in this place here, with your job, with your work, where things are not really going the way that you want them to go, right? This can be a big time period where you want to go out and, like work with somebody else, right? Work with a different group. Maybe you have to like change your job, right? Or maybe it is something where you are going to um be more of an entrepreneur, right? Somebody that is more working for themselves, right? But especially if this is something where this is very interesting, right? I'm sure it's only for like like select few, whatever. But if you have like patents that you want, if you're inventing things, right, stuff like that, because we do have the Empress card here. Um, so the Empress card is ruled by Venus. Taurus's ruling planet is Venus, right? So this is a time period that can bring up a lot about like your money, finances, but also relationship oriented things, right? So I am getting this thing about you have these ideas and you're not being able to put them into action, right, with the place where you're working at, right? And it just feels like you're being very undervalued where it is that you're working right now. And it's like, you're kind of at this place where people aren't listening to you and stuff like that. So I can understand wanting to react, wanting to kind of just, vent at the world, right? But this is a thing about like working with the energy, not against it, right? Because you're really, if you're working against what's trying to happen here, you're really just going to hurt yourself. So, you know, find like go somewhere, blow off some steam a little bit, right? Like vent, yell, whatever, right? Like write in your journal or something like that. But this is a time period really to be like proactive, right? Because the Six of Swords does talk about moving muddy emotions behind you. It is about looking at options about how you're moving forward, right? You have the Five of Swords here, which is a card that is about fear of defeat. It is a card about a stalemate, right? But like it's really telling you not to let that be in your way, right? Um, it's like it's a card that says like stop fighting, right? It's a card that says like continue to be focused on what it is that you want, but you're going to have to make some major decisions around yourself. Get out of your comfort zone, right? Nine of Swords back here, right? Get out of your comfort zone, make other choices around your life, and do something that is different, right? Because we are looking at negotiations. We're talking, so there can be things that are coming up here about contracts, right? And Saturn is a planet about structure, things like that. So it is. So that's retrograde right now. It's getting ready to go direct on the fourth. It's a slow moving planet, so it may take a little bit of time to get things moving, right? But it's like you can be moving into a time period here, depending upon where Saturn is in your chart, right? That it's like if you have been stuck here, right? Things are going to start moving, right? Like soon, especially within the next period of like the next 2 months, right? Um, so right now, like I said, the Eight of Pentacles, which is running around there, right? The Eight of Pentacles to me is a card that says whatever ideas you have running around the back of your head, put those things into action within the course of the next 2 months. It doesn't mean things are going to be finished. It means like start, right? It means like gather your materials, right? Get information, write things down, right? Look around for people that can help you, right? Like kind of scour the internet, things like that. Talk to other people, right? You don't have the Three of Swords, but you do have the Three of Pentacles, right? So this is kind of about working with other people, right? If you have to take classes, training programs, things like that, then do that, right? But like get your stuff together because there is going to be a major kind of change trying to happen around your life. You do have the Tower card here, right? It's a tearing down in order to rebuild, right? So it's like Spirit is asking you to not look at how things are falling apart, look at how they're falling together, right? So whatever kind of relationships are falling apart, it's because you're growing beyond them, right? So allow those things to kind of fall apart. Don't be having arguments with people, right? Like let them go, right? because it is really not worth your trouble, right? It really isn't. Not right now, right? In other time periods, I might have said, like maybe try to work things out with people, stuff like that, right? This to me feels like you've already been arguing with people. It feels like you've already been kind of trying to work things out. It feels like you've been banging your head against the wall and not really getting anywhere. So, like, if that's your situation, right, like, stop it. Right? Just stop it, Taurus. Feel like Peter Griffin. Stop it. Bird is the word. Fly the coop. I don't know, I'm having a Family Guy moment here in my head. So yeah, so there is all of that that's trying to happen around here. Again, you have the Nine of Pentacles. You have Nine of Pentacles over here, Nine of Pentacles over here. Money is trying to happen around you. You may not be able to see where the money is coming from, but it is trying to come in around here. It is about trusting your instincts. The Moon card is about like keep going. We're talking about things happening right within the next like moon cycle, right? So the next like 30 days, right? Queen of Pentacles, somebody is here trying to offer you more money, right? If you have a creative project, right? If you really, really, really feel like it's like a viable option, right? Somebody is here and they're willing to pay for things. What are all these balloons? That is like so weird. So bizarre. I don't understand this. I'm recording this on Zoom and it's been doing weird things. Right? It's like I, you know, I've been, giving the thumbs up like this, and then it wants to show like a thumb up on the screen. Right? I don't know where these balloons are coming from, but Spirit is trying to get you to understand that there is some kind of celebration. That is like so weird. Did you see them? There are all these balloons coming up on the screen, right? Based on this kind of Queen of Pentacles around here. I have no idea what that was all about. It's blowing my mind, people. Again, you have the Two of Swords here. You have the Two of Swords like 3 times now, 3 different decks. Two of Swords are showing up again. Right? There's 78 cards in each deck, right? So, and we're not showing here like a lot of cards. So for the Two of Swords to be showing up here from 3 different decks, that is really Spirit telling you, to let things go, right? Because like I said earlier, the Two of Swords is a card that has to do with like endings and things like that, right? And if you are not to, like, the Two of Swords to me is about trust issues. It's about having your hands over your heart, right? So having to make a choice around something, but not really being able to see a way out. So just be aware of that, right? Okay. I'm going to pull a couple of other cards here. See. This is Coffee Cup Tarot. Coffee Cup Oracle cards, whatever you want to call them. Just going to pull a couple of cards here. I'm going to see what other kind of messages Spirit has for us, for you, actually. What do you have to say for Taurus? What do you have to say for yourself? Oh. Love, new love, right? Heart. It's a lot about, again, we have, starting new relationships here. Mountains usually represent about like problems, burdens, problems, response. It's about trying to like overcoming obstacles, right? But it's like this to me says that you're at the top of a mountain, right? So you're coming to this place where you're going to have a clearer kind of a view around where it is that you want to go to, right? Spirit is saying to be the bigger person, right? like not to make mountains out of molehills, right? Fish abundance, right? So again, we're talking about like money, finances, trying to come in around here, right? Trust your instincts, follow your heart, right? Because if you are looking for like money, finances, things like that, it is something that's like coming down the road, right? Whales are wisdom keepers. They are people who have like knowledge, wisdom, things like that, right? So if you're looking to start something new, a new kind of project, right? Look for somebody that actually has information for you, right? Looking for somebody that actually is more about like an expert in the field that you are trying to get into, or that you're trying to start things like that, right? Do not be talking to these like, oh my God. So this is like, don't be looking at these like low grade people, right? Meaning like, it's like, you know, don't be talking. If you're looking to start something new, if you have this thing that you really think is like an important thing, right, that can make you a lot of money, stuff like that, right? It's like you don't want to be just talking to people on the street, right? You don't want, you know, like your chums, your mates, right? Like if they don't have the information, it's not going to get you anywhere, right? Especially if these people do not believe in you, right? So if they don't understand what it is you're talking about, then you're talking to the wrong people, right? So sorry, that's what they say, right? So again, Taurus, right? There's gonna like the prince of this means that there can be money coming in around you, some sort of a windfall, right? Again, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Things are going to be working out. You are going to be in control, right? So things are happening here for you, Taurus, right? It's like you want to, like we said earlier, right? It's like you don't want to try to force things, right? You don't want to be a control freak, right? But because the Emperor card can be that, right? But it's like working with the energy, right? It's like go with the flow, right? Meaning like go with your flow. Where are you being led to, right? There's a lot of that is trying to happen around here, right? Go with your flow. Follow where you're being led, right? That is really how you get to be in control, right? It's like when you're when somebody is like this is water. When somebody is like surfing, right? It's like they don't just go this way because they want to go that way, right? It's like they have to go with the flow of the wave, right? Follow where the energy is taking you to, right? That is how you get to be in control, right? Um, I will say it's like I was in art school. This is my art, and this, over here, this is the planet that I come from. This is space, right? This is the planet. This is the planet that I come from, and so anyway, I was in art school and I was working with ink and trying to do ink drawings and ink with the brush, and it really just was not doing what I wanted it to do. I was really agitated, and wasn't happy. And the teacher was over trying to help me, and she was really cool, amazing teacher, and she's like, you have to let it do what it's doing, you know. You can't really like force it. You have to like, just let it do what it's doing and work with what the ink is doing, right? So I was able to do some amazing artwork with the ink and like bigger pieces similar to this size, and but I had to go with the flow of the ink, just let it do what it was doing and work in layers, right? Like again, we're talking about like the Eight of Pentacles. We're talking about building things up, right? That's part of the Three of Pentacles. It's like things that build slowly, right? That's what the Three of Pentacles is about. It's about things that build slowly, right? Building money over time, right? So, you can make some big money here, right? But it's like building up to it, right? Gathering your resources, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you for watching. If you like what you heard, right, click like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. You said to work with the algorithm here, right? That's what they say. Right? Click, like, subscribe, right? Share, all of that. So good luck with all of that. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of intensity with a lot of y'all, especially if you are Taurus with like fire rising, right? If you're a Taurus with like Aries, Sag, Leo rising, it's a lot of like fire that's coming up here. You may have like fire in your chart somewhere or another, and work with the energy, please. It's something that is really going to help you. Great job.